Hi there, I'm DJ Waldow, and I turned 50 on February 23rd, 2026. So for the next 50 days, I'm sharing one thing that I've learned over the almost 50 years on this planet. Today's thing is thing number 45, the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. If you've been following along, or if you just know me in real life, you know that I recently did my first ever stand-up comedy set, a 5-minute open mic night. Was I nervous? Of course. But I wasn't terrified. And the reason is I was prepared. In fact, I would argue that I was probably more prepared on that stage than anyone else that night. And I don't say that in any way to brag. I say that because I didn't want to mess up. I had a lot of people there. I wanted to do my absolute best on stage. When I got up there, for the most part, I knew my material, I knew my beats, I knew my hooks, I knew my tags, all the different things. I did get derailed a little bit by my daughter who was in the crowd, and I knew I was going to say some words that I probably never said in front of her before. But overall, it went quite well, I think. And I attribute most of that to the preparation. I spent hours and hours getting ready for this thing just for 5 minutes. Proper planning prevents poor performance, also known as the 5 Ps, or the thing that Tanner Miller, one of my running partners, says to me probably weekly, if not more often, when we're on our runs. We always talk about the 5 Ps. I think about where the 5 Ps show up across life, and certainly within sports. I think about the different races I've done over the years, half marathons, full marathons, 10-mile races. The actual race day is not the hardest part of the race. It's all the training that leads up to it. I've run plenty of races where I haven't been fully prepared, I haven't properly planned, and the race did not go well. I've had others where I've done all the work ahead of time, and the day of the race was actually quite enjoyable, relatively easy. I've talked about this before with tests. There's only 2 kinds of tests, the ones you've taken and the ones you haven't. And the reality is the test day should be pretty easy if you've done the proper planning and preparation ahead of time. I've also showed up on the opposite end of preparation before. I forgot the 5 Ps, or I failed to adhere to the 5 Ps. I can think of a few times in my life where I've gotten up on stage in front of 100 or 1,000 people, and I didn't really know my material. I didn't know it as well as I could because I wasn't prepared. And if you know me, there are many things that I do. There's many things I do in my life where I just wing it. Many times where I get a mic in my hand and I just get up there and say what's on my mind. But there are certain times in life, whether it's in sports, doing an important presentation, where you need that preparation. For me, not only when I'm doing public speaking, I know that I've got to be prepared, especially it's a topic that I should know or I'm supposed to know a lot about. But also, I think this shows up a lot in any kind of serious conversation you're going to have with somebody, whether you're quitting a job, having a difficult conversation with a coworker or a colleague, or even your partner. That's something you want to practice. Literally stand in front of the mirror and practice it. Be prepared for that moment. Be prepared for what could happen, good or bad, for all the different scenarios. When it comes to preparation, I think a lot about this podcast. 50 episodes is a lot. There's a lot of people that didn't think I could do it. But like I said before in a previous episode, if I say I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. And also, we can do hard things. One of the ways that preparation shows up in this podcast is that there's times where I have to batch episodes. I don't record 1 episode a day. I literally go to my room, I change my shirt so it looks like it's a separate day, and I record 3, 4, 5, 6. In fact, the day you're listening to this episode, if I have it planned right, I'm recording this on Thursday, February 12th, yet this won't go live until, I don't believe, Wednesday of next week. So you should be listening to this on Wednesday, the 18th or something like that, because I'm planning ahead of time because I'm going to be out of town and I can't have this beautiful backdrop when I'm recording. So that's a perfect example of me planning ahead, preparing, to prevent that poor performance. And to be clear, preparation does not guarantee success. I had prepared this podcast. I knew I was going to record it this afternoon, but as much as I prepared, things happened that were out of my control. I can hear somebody right now mowing the lawn out front. Sometimes my dog barks. So even when you're prepared, things can go wrong. So the key here is you don't need the perfect plan. Remember, perfection is overrated, but you need a plan. You need a plan that you can execute so that when you're put in those situations, whether it's sports, a sporting event, a race, a big speech, a conversation with your partner, you are as prepared as possible to put your best foot forward. The 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Brought to you by Tanner Miller. Although I have a feeling he might not have been the first person to say that. Okay, that is it. That is thing number 45, the 5 Ps. Thank you so much for watching. We're in the home stretch. Episode 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. 5 more days. That's it. Are you ready? You can still follow on the social medias. You can still like and subscribe and leave comments. That's okay. You can still add your name to 50things.co and get daily emails. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for thing number 46.